Looking to the different joints of skull which we are going to discuss in this video. So let's move towards it. The first one which we are going to see here. See, when we talk about the joints of skull, there are just majorly two joints which could be seen. It is the atlanto-occipital joint and the atlanto-axial joint. Okay, moving first towards the atlanto-occipital joint. Now what the word is telling you, atlanto here means the atlas. Okay, you know atlas is the C1 vertebrae, and then you have the occipital which says the occipital condyles. Okay, so looking here in the picture first, if you can appreciate it, see, this is your occipital condyle here, and this is your C1 vertebrae, that is your atlas. Okay, so this is the occipital condyle. Now see what exactly happens. This is the occipital condyle, like this, a boat shaped condyle, and then this is a boat shaped condyle, and this is your C1 vertebrae. What exactly happens is this condyle is going to go up and down in the forward direction. Matlab it is just going to go up and down, like front and back. You can say it is going to go front and back like a boat. As it is a boat kind of structure, it is going to go in the front direction and a back direction, and that is when you have a yes movement. Whenever you say yes, remember, just see it in your own skull. When you say yes, your head goes up and down. Okay, up and down. So that is the same movement that is happening here because of the occipital condyle that is going up and down on the C1 vertebrae, that is your atlas. So this is a joint that is usually present between the occipital condyles and the atlas vertebrae, which is the C1 vertebrae. It is a yes movement type that is seen here. Now this particular joint is an example of ellipsoid synovial joint. Okay, what are the ligaments which are seen here? Remember, this is a evergreen ligament. Okay, the fibrous ligament is the, or the fibrous capsule is the evergreen capsule or ligament which is going to be seen. Other than that, you have very easy the anterior and posterior atlanto-occipital membrane. So is it very easy to remember? No, the anterior as well as the posterior atlanto-occipital membrane. Now coming to the next joint, that is the atlanto-axial joint. Again, the name is telling you the bones involved. It is the atlas, C1 vertebrae, and the axis, that is the C2 vertebrae. Okay, now this is what a atlas looks like. It is a ring-like structure. What do you see here? It is a ring-like structure which we see. Okay, this is atlas C1 vertebrae. It is a completely ring-like structure. Then we have axis, that is C2 vertebrae. You can see a very sharp pointed structure here. Okay, in the C2 vertebrae, that is the axis. Moving ahead to the joint, see how it fits. This here is your ring-like structure, and the atlas, if I try to show you atlas with another color, the atlas is going and fixing it like a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle. It is coming and fixing in the C1 vertebrae. This is C1 vertebrae. This here is the C2 vertebrae, and the C2 is going and locking itself in the C1 vertebrae like this. This is C1. And this is the C2 in the center. Okay, so it's basically a lock and key mechanism which could be seen here. Moving ahead, it is a joint, as I told you, between the atlas and the axis, the C1 vertebrae and the C2 vertebrae, the cervical vertebrae. Then we have two type of joints further. See, basically this atlanto-axial joint which we see here, it is basically two type of synovial joints are seen here. It is the plain synovial joint and your pivot synovial joint. So if you see laterally, it is the plain synovial type of joint, and medially if you see, it is a pivot synovial joint which could type of synovial joint. Now moving ahead, it is also said to be a no movement or a rotational joint which could be seen. So this is the no movement. Whenever we say no, we go left to right and then right to left. That is what we say a rotational or a no movement. It is happening because of this particular joint. Now what are the ligaments? As I told you, the fibrous capsule is evergreen, present everywhere. Okay, then the very important, the transverse ligament of atlas, as the bone says. Now there are four ligaments which are also the ligaments found in foramen magnum. It is the membrana tectoria LR ligament that divides the foramen magnum, as I have already told you, into two compartments, anterior and posterior. Okay, anterior and the posterior one. Lastly, you have the apical ligament of Dens and the cruciate ligament. See, these four ligaments are the one which are also found in the foramen magnum. So So it is not a new structure that you have to learn. We have already seen this. Only the fibrous capsule, the evergreen one, and the transverse ligament of atlas are the new ones which we need to know. Okay, so these are the basic two joints of skull which we need to know here. Okay, these are the joints of skull, the atlanto-occipital joint and the atlanto-axial joint. I hope this video was clear to you. If there are any doubts or recommendations, let me know in the comment section. Thank you.